The Dallas Cowboys have found themselves in a very tough position. Currently sitting at 3-5. The news broke that Dak Prescott is expected to miss multiple weeks. CeeDee Lamb dealing with a shoulder injury. Jerry Jones this offseason stated that the Cowboys were all in, and yet he didn't do anything, make any moves to really make that come to fruition. The Cowboys don't seem to have done anything in the offseason to really try to bolster their roster. They let a ton of veterans go. And I think the toughest thing for the Cowboys right now is the fact that they paid Dak Prescott $60 million a year before the season started. And going into the offseason, as it went on, and Jerry Jones was sitting back, not really doing anything, everyone was wondering if the Cowboys were actually going to pay Dak Prescott. I personally thought it would have been wise to let the season play out. Let Dak Prescott play out the 2024 season before giving him a big contract. And then if he finally can get over that playoff hump, maybe take your team to an NFC championship, maybe take your team to the Super Bowl, then you say, okay, Dak, we're willing to pay you. And yes, you'll probably have to pay more than $60 million per year because he would be a free agent and other teams could bid on him. But I think that you'd be willing to take on a few extra $1 million a year to at least see that he can actually do what you want him to do in the 2024 season. Because for most of Dak's career, he's had a lot of regular season success, and yet he has been 2-5 in the playoffs. And now the Cowboys sitting here at 3-5, they're stuck with Dak Prescott in his contract. And when you look at future years, it's just very tough for teams who give so much money to their quarterback to really give their guys enough talent around them. You have to start hitting on a lot of draft picks if you really want to find success when you're paying your quarterback $60 million a year. And when we currently look at Dak's cap hit next season, it's $89.89 million. And then CeeDee Lamb's cap hit is $35.45 million. And that's the thing. When you pay a quarterback $60 million, he needs to be able to, raise your team level of success to a different level, even if everything isn't perfect around him. And Dak Prescott has not been able to do that this year. He has been a average to below average quarterback so far this season. He has not been as good as he was last season in the regular season. And I even thought that even with Dak Prescott having regular season success, he has continued to struggle in the playoffs. And because of that, that's the main reason I didn't want to see the Cowboys give him that kind of money. I thought it would have been smart, see what happens. And then if you want to, you can try to pivot off of him and move to a young, cheap quarterback and not have to pay as much money at the quarterback position. But so far this year, Dak has 11 touchdowns to 8 interceptions and 86 passer rating. Last year, he had a 105.9 passer rating. And so now Dak hasn't been able to have that playoff success. He hasn't even this season been able to find, regular season success. I'm not saying this is all Dak Prescott's fault. I think that the Cowboys need to do a lot on their overall team to give him more pieces, give him more weapons, a better offensive line. The defense has been terrible so far this season. But the reason that, the Cowboys are going to struggle to really surround Dak with talent in the future, and even this past offseason, the talk of them not wanting to bring in guys because of the contract they'd have to pay out, if they wouldn't have paid Dak Prescott, they probably and in future years, we'll be able to use more money to bring in other guys to surround the team with talent. But now because you have a $90 million basically cap hit next season, it's just tough to really spend up at other positions and really bolster this team. And so that's the problem, I think, when you pay a quarterback who's probably more in the 10 to 15 range, number one quarterback money, it's just really, really tough to win games. And I think teams like the Dolphins with Tua Tagovailoa are in a similar unfortunate position because you're paying Tua the same or more as guys like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and he's not going to be able to overcome those guys come playoff time, and I feel like it's the same with Dak Prescott. And so now that you're 3-5, Dak's injured, if the Cowboys wouldn't have given Dak the big money contract, I think that they could easily move off of him this offseason, get that money where they wouldn't have all that money on the books for Dak Prescott for the future years. Now they may have a really great draft pick. They could have drafted a top quarterback, paid him cheap money on a rookie contract, and been able to bring in a ton of talent in the next couple of years around that guy. And I think Jerry just sort of chose what seemed at the time like the safer pick. Jerry Jones wants to always make sure the Cowboys are competing, always make sure they're successful. And so I understand that when you have Dak at least in the past, he's kept you at that certain level of success. This year, it hasn't been the case, but Jerry chose that, what he thought would be a successful season where you at least compete in the playoffs. He chose that, and now it's sort of backfiring where Dak's not even having good success in the regular season. And so the Cowboys are in a really, really tough spot right now. And for future years, I don't know, how the Cowboys are really going to be able to get over that hump, get over that playoff hump with Dak Prescott as their quarterback. And now that they're even struggling in the regular season, there's just so many different problems here with the Dallas Cowboys. But if you want more Dallas Cowboys content, feel free to subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys next time.